Um, Look, Idlib province is the largest al-Qaeda safe haven since 9/11, tied directly to Ayman al-Zawahiri. This is a huge problem. It's been a problem for some time. We have shown the spotlight, the international spotlight, on ISIS. We've been very focused on al-Qaeda in Idlib province. Leaders of al-Qaeda that make their way to Idlib province often do not make their way out of there. But we have to ask a question: why and how is Ayman al-Zawahiri's deputy finding his way to Idlib province? Why is this happening? How are they getting there? They're not paratroopers. So, and the approach, I obviously will not talk about anything the US government has done in certain parts of Syria on this problem, but the approach by some of our partners to send in tens of thousands of tons of weapons and looking the other way as these foreign fighters come into Syria may not have been the best approach. And al-Qaeda has taken full advantage of it. And Idlib now is a huge problem. It is an al-Qaeda safe haven right on the border of Turkey. So that's something obviously we will be in very close discussions with the Turks on. And I think as we did in some ISIS areas, in sealing the border, making sure nobody can cross, is something we might have to think about in Idlib province. Because it's a huge problem. It's a different problem than ISIS, but it is a big problem and something we have to very much focus on as a counterterrorism objective.
Thank you for the questions, but as briefly as possible. And I first wanted to just answer a question which I think Brett threw out into the room, which was, how did al-Qaeda's deputy leader get his way all the way to Syria? Well, he...
Get closer to the microphone.
Closer or?
Closer.
Okay. It seemed to be squeaking when I was close, but how did he get there? Well, he was released by Iran in a hostage swap. And it's, I think, fairly common knowledge in the counterterrorism community that al-Qaeda basically made a deal with the Iranian government after 9/11, that in exchange for the protection, somewhat in house arrest, of many of al-Qaeda's most senior leaders and Osama bin Laden's family, then in exchange al-Qaeda would not attack Iran. Well, Iran has also been willing to release senior al-Qaeda leaders when it has had a need to do so, and in this case it was part of a hostage swap with an Iranian diplomat who'd been kidnapped in Yemen. So yeah, the appearance of Abu al-Khayr al-Masri in Syria was a pretty big deal, but it was also a pretty big statement of where Iran stands on counterterrorism.